Hi, I'm Al. This is a video. Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I really appreciate you guys watching. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different thing. I wanted to have a little bit of an open discussion with you, an open dialogue with you guys, the Geometry community, as well as my community. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the FPS bypass, as the Demon List just officially announced that they are allowing 360 FPS to be used for records that are accepted by the Demons List. And I think there are a lot of things that are going to be happening with this change that are pretty exciting, honestly. I'm going to be getting into that in a second. For context, as of why it was allowed, Skyjax recently beat Tartarus on 360 FPS, and Riot has been playing on 360 FPS as well, which has sparked new, profound discussion amongst the community about whether or not the legality of 360 FPS is a thing, and if it should be allowed because 360Hz monitors exist. Because initially, a lot of the reason why FPS bypass was allowed to begin with was just to allow people who do not have the money to afford such hardware could compete with the rest, which was a very welcome change in a lot of people's eyes. Whether or not you think it's legit or not, that's up to you to decide, but a lot of people did really like the fact that we were allowed to use FPS bypass because people who could not afford the appropriate hardware for higher refresh rate playing could now compete with the rest. And having 360 Hz available and allowed to use, but not 360 FPS from the bypass, was for a lot of people kind of weird, and I kind of agree with that. So now that it's allowed to do 360 FPS with the bypass, I think we are going to go into a new period in time, very similar to when Bloodbath was initially dethroned as the #1 demon. What I mean by that is that now that 360 FPS is allowed, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more super hard levels release. And hear me out. You may think that sounds crazy, right? Because 360 FPS is not that much more than 300. But I'm a native 280 Hz player. My monitor is 280 Hz. It's overclocked, and I play on that, and I have for the past like 9 months or so. I was working on my next extreme demon. I'm going to reveal it to you right now. It's Timor by Colorbolt. I was playing the drop wave at around 36% for 600-700 attempts. I could not really get it down. I was struggling with it because it's a hard wave, and as you guys know, I'm not the best wave player. Then I got the news that 360 FPS was allowed, and I was like, cool, I'll check it out. Why not? Sounds fun, right? I was able to consistently do this wave within like 20-30 attempts. I genuinely do believe that 360 FPS makes a sizable difference to 280 Hz that I was playing on, to the point where this may push the difficulty barrier for Geometry Dash quite significantly. Tartarus has been in #1 now for a little bit over a year. It was put #1 around February 2020, and it's remained #1 since then. We don't talk about the Golden. That didn't happen. And I think that one of the things that I find very intriguing by this is that with 360 now being allowed, all of the top ones that have been in the making for the past few years are going to start releasing. Eternal Night, Sonic Wave Infinity, Galaxy Collapse, Deimos, all the top ones that have been meaning to release for a really long time, I think are going to start releasing now, because people are going to be able to push that difficulty because they have a new significant advantage in how well they can play because of the FPS bypass. I think this is huge. I think we are going to see a new breed basically of players, because we've already seen over the past just year of new players being ridiculously good at this game because FPS bypass has been allowed, and now with an even higher FPS limit that, in my personal opinion, from my personal experience trying out 360 and playing it with it for the past day and a half now, is significant enough to where I think another barrier of difficulty is going to be broken. It's really, really cool. I'm very excited for it. There are some drawbacks with this, obviously. The Demon List very, very clearly stated that they were worried about LDMs, and from my understanding of what they said, and I quote, "Following this change, we would like to remind everyone of our changes to LDMs. For the time being, feel free to use the LDMs on the invalid do not use account, but please note that LDMs will not be acceptable once they are published on our new account." From what I can tell, this means that if the LDM is not uploaded by Pointer Crate, you are not allowed to use it if you want a record to be submitted. And I think this is completely valid, because the main reason, from my understanding of it, from talking to Moosh a decent bit, was that a large part of the reason why they didn't want 360 FPS to be allowed was for people with bad hardware to push for really bad LDMs to be allowed to make the level easier so they could run it at 360 FPS, because they would be like, oh, but they can play 360 FPS, why can't I? And LDMs have been an issue, and they still are, where people make LDMs that are basically layouts, making the level significantly easier. Because no matter what you say, I don't care if you believe this or not, remove the decoration from a level and it becomes infinitely easier. When I grind easy demons, I will turn on LDM because it makes me beat the level faster, because I don't have as many visuals in my face blocking my sight readability for the level. LDMs do make a significant difference in how difficult the level is. So I think that is a completely fair thing for them to do. Because, in my personal opinion, if you cannot run the level the way it is, turn down your FPS. I played Berserk on 240 FPS instead of 280 because I couldn't run it at 280. Zeronium played Berserk on 216 because he couldn't run it at 240, so on and so forth. If you can't run the level at 360 FPS, tough luck, suck it up, play lower FPS. So I'm a very big fan and a very big advocate for the fact that they are not allowing LDMs that are not published by them. I think that's a great change, personally. Now, here comes where I have some questions. While I understand it to a degree, because of how Geometry Dash breaks with higher frame counts, is that they are not even going to allow more increases to your frame count, even with adequate hardware. If a 450 Hz monitor ever releases, you are not allowed to play that for the demons list. You are not allowed to submit a record with 450 FPS in the game, even if it's a 450 Hz monitor. I understand it to a degree because the game breaks significantly once you get into the 400 or 500 frame rate mark, right? But it does seem weird to me limiting hardware, especially once 2.2 comes out and we're going to be seeing a hopefully more stable game that utilizes your hardware a little bit better so that you can actually run the game that high and fixing up all the janky physics and stuff. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It makes sense now, but going 4 or 5 years into the future, I do not know how I feel about this one. Limiting hardware is really jank, because 360 FPS doesn't change the game significantly enough, in my opinion, to where it warrants not allowing it, but I can understand it with 450, 500. But not allowing hardware, I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't know. I think it's weird, personally. But yeah, that's basically all the information I wanted to convey for you guys today. Please have a civil discussion in the comments. I would love to engage a little bit with it as well. I'm going to be replying to a decent chunk of comments from what people are saying. I think this is a very important thing to do. I think it's going to be pushing the game forward in terms of difficulty, and I think it's going to be helping us push forward the game, because I feel like we were hitting a limit with 300 FPS to how hard we could go. I think 360 is going to help us push the game a little bit further. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Are you for? Are you against? Are you for or against the LDM decision they've made? Just tell me what you guys think. Have an open discussion. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You guys know the drill by now. Thank you for making my day better. Hope I made yours a little bit better too. Talk to you guys later. Tell me if you want to see more commentary style videos like this, where we just discuss new topics that are brought up in the community. I think these videos are fun to make. I genuinely do like them. So anyway, I'll see you guys around. Stay healthy, eat your greens. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.